It isn't one moment. That's the part I'd take back if I could. There's a version of this where I tell you about the one time, and you get to decide whether it was really that bad. I don't have one time. I have a 4-year-old and about 2 years of small ones. Bath time, phone propped on the closed toilet lid against the wall, where I could see the 15-minute chart from the floor. The park, him climbing the steps to the slide for the 9th time, saying, "Watch, watch." Me saying, "I'm watching." His bedroom floor, both of us on our stomachs, a plastic dinosaur in my hand, doing whatever a dinosaur does, and my eyes going past it to a candle finishing on the ES. And I always looked up in time. That's the part I want you to notice. Not that I looked down, that I got so good at looking up right on cue that nobody in that house knew I was gone. It took me 2 years to find out what that was costing me. And the thing that finally showed me had nothing to do with money. Every trader I know can tell you their worst number. The account, the week, the one that still makes them wince. I can tell you mine, and I have, in other videos. It isn't the one that cost me the most. Every trader I know watches one ledger. Green day, red day, good month, bad month. We track drawdown to the dollar. We know our worst week by heart. There is a second ledger, and nobody shows you that one. It doesn't update at the close. Nothing alerts you when you breach it. And by the time you can read it, you are already years in. I found the first entry on it by accident, on a phone call. It doesn't matter who. It's happened enough times that picking one would be dishonest. Someone I care about was telling me something hard. The kind of call where they're not asking you to fix it. They just don't want to be alone in it. And somewhere in the middle, I caught the back of my own brain doing math. How long does this need to be? Is there anything I can actually do here? I was running expected value on somebody who was hurting. I stayed. I want to be clear, I stayed. But I know exactly when I started wanting to go. And I wasn't cold. That's the part that got me. I didn't feel cold. 3 years at a desk hadn't made me care less. It had put a calculator between the caring and the doing, and it ran whether I asked it to or not. That's the entry I noticed first. It isn't the one that did the most damage. To explain the second entry, I have to tell you about 2 losses. The first one was $8,000. Real setup, real invalidation. The market did what the market does. It hurt, and I'm not going to pretend it didn't. But I closed the platform, I ate dinner, and I slept that night. I remember thinking, that's the job. That's what this costs. The second one was $200. A sloppy entry, too early, on a chart I hadn't waited on. Gone before 10 in the morning. $200. It took the whole day. It took the next one too. I couldn't hold a conversation. I snapped at somebody over something that didn't come close to deserving it. And it was a Friday, so I got to carry it all weekend, right up to the next session. 40 times the money, and the small one is the one that wrecked me. So why? Because the 8,000 was something that happened to me. The 200 was something I did. One of them was weather. The other one was a verdict. That's what a loss actually is in this job. It isn't a number leaving your account. It's the market telling you what kind of trader you are, in front of the one person you can never get away from. And here's what took me 2 years to see. I let it grade the rest of me too. The third one is the one I'd take back first. Trading is quiet by design. Nobody watches your screen. Nobody grades the 20 minutes you lose to a chart on a Wednesday afternoon. That silence is supposed to be the appeal. Nobody tells you the room doesn't unlock at the closing bell. And I couldn't tell you when people stopped asking. That's the problem with this one. There's no day it happens. You say no to a Friday because the week went badly. You say no to the next one because you want to be sharp for Monday. The third time, you don't even bother with a reason. You just say you can't. and the invitations get thinner, and you tell yourself everyone's just busy these days. I want to be accurate about this part. Nobody abandoned me. I got quiet first. I stopped being someone who reached out, and the world is polite enough to let you do that without ever once mentioning it. And here's the part I still can't get around. Some of this started while I was losing. That part makes sense. When you're down and you're chasing it back, of course you're on your phone at the park. Of course you're somewhere else at bath time. I told myself it was temporary. I told myself it was what digging out costs. Which means I was carrying a date in my head. Not a real date, a condition. When the account is right, I'll be right. So the account got right, and none of it stopped. The chasing was over, and the man it had made was still standing at the bottom of a slide, looking at his phone, with nothing left to chase. That's the part nobody warns you about. A losing streak at least makes you look at yourself. Doing well never asks you to. Here's the thing about a 4-year-old. You get a set number of days where climbing a slide is the greatest thing that has ever happened to anybody. Nobody tells you what the number is. It isn't big. And I was spending them with my eyes somewhere else. What finally stopped it wasn't a blown account. I've had those. They never taught me anything except how to survive the next one. It was 4 words from a 4-year-old. Come play with me. Not angry, not sad. He wasn't accusing me of anything. He was telling me where I was supposed to be, the same way you'd tell someone they left their keys on the counter. And he'd said it before. That's the part I have to be honest about. It wasn't the first time he said it. It was the first time I heard it. So I made one rule. It's the only rule I have never broken. I don't take a trade when my son is with me. Not smaller size, not just quick ones. No position at all, not open, not on, while he's here. If the setup shows up and he's in the room, the setup goes. And I know how that sounds. If it's that simple, why did it take years? Because I was waiting on a condition instead of making a decision. And because there is no daily loss limit on this one. Nothing locks you out. No dashboard turns red because you were in the room, but not actually in the room for the 11th night in a row. The only alarm is a person telling you, and the people who love you are usually the last ones to complain about you. Mine wasn't old enough to be polite about it. That's the only reason I heard it. I'm not going to tell you trading makes you a worse person. I don't believe that. I think it makes you very good at whatever you practice. And if you are not careful about where you set it down, it starts practicing on the people around you. The market was never going to care how I was doing outside of it. I had to. I have broken every rule I ever wrote for that account. Size rules, stop rules, daily limits, rules I wrote down twice because I'd already broken them once. The only rule I've never broken is the one that has nothing to do with money. And if you think the money ledger was the one that nearly broke me, I thought that too. I paid $50,000 to find out what it actually cost me. That story is, most traders never learn this. Link is right there.